Tonight on Texas News Primetime, early voting is underway.
UT researchers developed a plastic-eating enzyme.
And students are warned of raccoons on campus.
You're watching Texas News Primetime.
News made for Longhorns.
Good evening and welcome to Texas News Primetime. For Monday, May 2nd, I'm Lucy Lopez.
And I'm Kevin Bosker. Thank you for joining us tonight. Early voting is underway for the May 7th special election. On the statewide ballot are two proposed amendments to the Texas Constitution. Local municipalities and school boards are also holding elections. Polling places on campus include the Perry Casandanda Library and Flan Academic Center. On the ballot proposition, one would lower property taxes of homeowners who are disabled or 65 years and older. Proposition to increase the homestead exemptions of residents from $25,000 to $40,000 for public school taxes. The measure would mean less tax revenue is going to Texas school districts, but the state has said it will reimburse school districts for lost revenue. A primary runoff election will be held on May 24th. Incumbent Attorney General Ken Paxton will face Land Commissioner George P. Bush in the Republican runoff. Attorney Rachel Garcia and former Galveston Mayor Joe Jaworski will compete for the Democratic nomination.
This Saturday, residents in the North Austin suburb of Leander will vote on whether or not they want to keep Capital Metro public transport services in their city. Adversaries of Leander's partnership with Cap Metro say there are too few riders on the transportation to justify the $9.8 million expense the city paid last year. Supporters of the partnership argue that it will be worthwhile now that there has been an influx of people moving to Austin from different parts of the United States, and that the transportation will be in fact useful. The fine for leaving the partnership was $42.3 million in late March, based on a formula in state law. The cost changes daily and can't be determined until voters make the decision. If the city decides to end the partnership, the city will be required to continue paying its 1% annual sales tax to Cap Metro until the penalty is paid off.
After being shut down for the past 2 years, the White House Correspondents' Dinner made its grand return. President Joe Biden and the First Lady Jill Biden were present, marking the first time a president appeared at the dinner since 2016. Biden poked various jokes throughout the speech, citing how journalists are in the room, quote, the only group of Americans who have a lower approval rating than I do, end quote. However, it wasn't the president that stole the night. Comedian and Daily Show host Trevor Noah made some noteworthy points that our people are still talking about. Here's a snippet of what he said.
You realize how amazing it is. Like, in America, you have the right to seek the truth and speak the truth, even if it makes people in power uncomfortable, even if it makes your viewers or your readers uncomfortable. You understand how amazing that is? I stood here tonight and I made fun of the President of the United States, and I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine, right?
Governor Greg Abbott said Friday that he will reallocate $500 million to Operation Lone Star, the border security initiative along the Texas-Mexico border. The governor is taking $200 million from Texas Health and Human Services, $160 million from the Texas Department of Public Safety, and tens of millions from other departments. Abbott said that the reallocation would not, quote, affect any agency or program function, end quote, but the governor did not give any specifics on whether there would be budget cuts.
Migrants detained under Governor Greg Abbott's Operation Lone Star are now attempting to sue Greg Abbott's border mission struck down in federal court. The move by Abbott has been a lightning rod since the controversy first struck back in September 2021. Abbott originally claimed that the move was intended to fight drug trafficking and Mexican cartels, but the lawyers representing the migrants argue the Operation Lone Star treats migrants differently during the prosecution than others prosecuted for the same crime. Attorneys representing the plaintiffs also said defendants are asking to be released from custody after posting bond, entering a plea deal. or when the charges are dropped.
A new certification exam for teachers could soon be adopted by Texas. In June, the Texas State Board of Education will consider switching from its current exam of 100 multiple choice questions to a more intense test teachers must pass before beginning instruction. The new exam's questions are essay format, and teachers must also submit a sample lesson plan and a video of them teaching a class along with a report on students' progress. While some say that the exam will better prepare teachers for real-life scenarios in the classroom, opponents say that the more expensive fees associated with the new test create barriers for people of color. 2 states that have already used the exam have now dropped it.
I think we have a bad year coming, says Randy Denzer, Vice President of Austin Firefighters Association. Denzer, and along with many other firefighters across Central Texas, are fearing a repeat of the 2011 wildfire season. For context, the 2011 season saw 30,896 total fires and more than 9.9 million acres burned. However, if Central Texas does see some spring rain, then we may be able to avoid such a disaster from occurring. The hope for such rain is not as high as we would like it to be, as the latest U.S. Drought Monitor report showed that drought conditions continue to intensify in Central Texas. To be prepared for a potential wildfire, make sure you clean out your yard's debris and create a wildfire evacuation plan. A little preparation now could potentially save your life down the line.
H-E-B's 2-Bite brownies are typically a sweet and savory treat. However, a recent batch is less of a treat and more of a trick due to the possibility of metal shards in the small snacks. The brownies are made by a third party that delivers exclusively to H-E-B and Joe V's Smart Shop. This potential threat has resulted in a recall of all of these products from the grocery store shelves, and they will not be put back on or sold until they've met all proper safety standards.
On April 27th, the University of Texas notified students and staff that 3 students had been bitten by raccoons on campus. The students are currently receiving rabies vaccines. In their message, the university warned students not to approach, feed, pet, or harass raccoons. Additionally, they warned students that if they are bitten or scratched by any wild animal, they should seek some medical professionals immediately.
Breaking news tonight, a leaked draft opinion was given to Politico from the Supreme Court that will strike down Roe v. Wade, the case that legalized safe abortions in the United States. The draft was written by Justice Samuel Alito and allegedly received majority votes from the justices. The overturning would potentially change the availability and access that people who can have children will have to safe abortions. In the draft opinion, Alito allegedly writes that Roe, quote, must be overruled, end quote.
Researchers at UT Cockrell School of Engineering created an enzyme that can break down plastics, which typically take centuries to decay, in a matter of hours or days. The enzyme works with the plastic known as PET, which is found in soda bottles, consumer packaging, and some textiles. PET accounts for about 12% of all global waste. The team plans to further develop the enzyme to allow for industrial and environmental use.